understand that there was no sexual harassment policy in place at the foundation. Is that correct?
That's correct. There were no sexual harassment policies in a lot of organizations as we started to
I'm
learn
not talking about other
more.
organizations, sir. With all due respect,
yes,
I'm
I answered
talking
your
about
question.
the
Point of
Trudeau
order, Chair.
Foundation.
I answered your question.
Yes, Ms. Shanahan.
This is outside the scope of this study, and I believe it's entirely
Maybe
inappropriate.
Mr. Genuous,
I do want to move back to the issue of the very serious issue of sexual assault and harassment allegations against people connected with the foundation. My colleague, Mr. Brock, was raising these issues before a Liberal MP tried to shut it down on a point of order, and it is striking that Liberals don't want to hear these questions. They talk a lot about feminism and holding people accountable, but they didn't even want to let Mr. Brock finish his line of questioning on this. So I want to pick this up. Mr. Rosenberg, in the case involving Sherry Smiley, did you testify in February in support of the Trudeau Foundation's desire to move that case to Montreal?
I testified in February, not in support. I was asked to testify by their lawyers, but my testimony was...
Right, by which lawyers?
By the Foundation's lawyers.
The Foundation's lawyers, okay.
But my testimony, if I recall it, was simply around factual issues as to where, for example, I would have signed the scholarship agreement for Ms. Smiley, where Ms. Smiley went to school, where the events took place, which was in Newfoundland. So, yeah, I mean, I just gave factual testimony. I wasn't advocating for anybody.
Naturally, as a witness, you wouldn't have, your role wasn't to advocate, but is it reasonable to presume that if a foundation's lawyers asked you to testify, they thought the testimony you provide would be useful to their desire to move the location of the case to Quebec?
Yeah, I assume that that's why they wanted me to. I'm not sure they would have found my testimony necessarily all that helpful.
Right. And do you think the way Ms. Smiley has been treated by the foundation has been appropriate?
Can't say.
Well,
I don't know because I wasn't there. Most of this, as I understand it, statement of claim deals with issues post the time that I left the foundation.
Okay, but they've repeatedly sought a change of venue. So I'm just on the face of that. I mean, I can't speak to the particular facts of her claim, but the repeated efforts to move the venue to a place where these events didn't occur and that is least convenient for her. Would you suggest that that's not a great way of kind of affirming the importance of survivors coming forward and telling their stories?
Mr. Genuous, and maybe through the chair, I am not going to opine on people's strategy in handling litigation.